Hello and welcome to Brockport Sports Talk. I'm Jack.
And I'm Zach.
And we're here to talk about football, hockey, baseball, and whatever else we feel like talking about. Why don't you take it away, Zach?
Thank you, Jack. So the Bills are coming off a bye week, and they face the Miami Dolphins at home on Sunday. The last time these two teams met, back in Week 2, the Bills shut out the Dolphins on the road, 35-0. Mm-hmm. Now, both teams are coming off some losses and are looking to bounce back. Now, for the Bills, Dawson Knox is ruled out for the game with a hand injury.
Mm-hmm. Big player.
Jack, what do you think are the key factors for both teams to try and bounce back?
Well, this week, the Bills, they need their defense to bounce back. They were getting diced up by Derrick Henry and Tannehill, and it was just a rough scene for them on the defensive side of the ball. I don't think they got a stop on them in the second half, and I think they just fell victimless to the explosiveness that happens when Derrick Henry breaks off like that, breaks out. You know, he opens up so much for Tennessee, and when he gets going like that, it's hard to get in front of him, and you do not want to get in front of him. Exactly. Probably the strongest running back in the NFL, the hardest hitting, and, when he gets going like that, it's really hard to stop him. The offense, they have really struggled in the red zone. They are 26 overall in red zone scoring percentage overall in the league. You know, it's not necessarily a death sentence to struggle. Teams like Dallas and Green Bay are near the bottom as well in percentage in that. But when you've got the talent like they do on offense, Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, everybody, John Brown, they've got too many tools to be struggling to get into the end zone, and I don't know what to say about on the Miami side. It is a rough scene for them.
It is very
they were a hipster pick. They were obviously not the favorite to get the AFC East crown, but people were saying, they could improve. They were 10-6 last season, and people were definitely the second pick, and people thought they would for sure be the second best team. But Tua gets hurt, team's falling apart, defense is struggling. They couldn't get anything going with Brissett, and now Tua's back, and they've lost two close games, against the Jaguars in London, and just a heartbreaker against the Falcons. And are they not trading for Deshaun Watson? What's going on there? We don't even know what's going on with Deshaun Watson. He's even alive right now. Like, he's just after allegations, he's just sitting out, and it's just a mess for Miami right now, Zach. What do you think as far as either team? What are your thoughts?
Right now, as I've heard before with this trade possible rumor with Deshaun Watson, a lot of the Dolphins players are really losing a lot of respect for Brian Flores and what he's doing over there, and that team needs to figure stuff out because they're in a hole. And to be honest with you, if they don't dig out, I think they're only going to win one game this year.
Yeah. And on the topic of Brian Flores, he's a coach who I think he has earned a lot of respect in the league and just around his locker room. He took what people were thinking was going to be one of the worst teams in NFL history, that 6-10 Dolphins team 2 years ago, and he brought them to 6 wins. He got them close to the playoffs. They couldn't quite get it done. They lost to Bills Week 17. But he's somebody who's been earning respect, and just for the floor to fall out under them like that, it's just kind of crazy, right?
Absolutely.
But all right, and now we can move on to the Kansas City Chiefs. Do you have anything on that, Zach?
Yeah, as you know, the Chiefs have been struggling. Right now they're sitting at 3-4 in the season. This is Patrick Mahomes' 5th game with multiple turnovers. The Chiefs defense, boy, have they been struggling at home.
Ooh, boy.
They've allowed 32.3 points per game at home on the year and have a -10 turnover differential. And when you got numbers like that and stats like that, that's a recipe for disaster. They host the Giants this week, another team that's struggling. So what is your prediction for the game, and what do you think the Chiefs need to do to turn their season around?
Well, as far as the game against the Giants go, Mahomes is still playing like a top 10 QB. As long as he's playing like that, you could take teams like the Giants, even if their defense is struggling, But as far as his season goes, because I feel like there's been a lot of talk with Mahomes, his turnovers and everything, he's still been a top 10 QB easily statistically this season, even with his struggles. But I think part of it is with turnovers and drops, there's been some bad luck. But the real problem is that defense. They've been a pushover outside of that Washington game. They've arguably been the worst defense in the league. Their only real competition is the Jacksonville Jaguars, and let me tell you, that is not that's not a team that you want to be in the conversation with.
Not at all.
Not at all. And they're getting lit up week in, week out. And the Titans game was just the peak of it. Again, just Derrick Henry and that Tannehill. When they are on, they are maybe possibly the most dangerous offense in the AFC. But, they've just been bleeding points. It's forced Mahomes, especially at the offensive line, to just play hero ball. I think he's playing in a way that he hasn't had to before. And with the offense, he's had things designed around him and things where he just needs to, make the plays that he can. And he's got the room to do that with the players, Kels and Hill. They aren't gone, but just everything around him is worse than it's been before. And I think overall it's just a adjustment process for him. They need to build something, anything around Mahomes if they want to succeed. And I think it's possible that they will. But I would say as far as Super Bowl hopes go, it's looking pretty grim for them. But with an extended wild card and that, they could certainly get in there. I don't think they end up catching up to the Chargers in that division.
No.
But, what would you say on their chances throughout the rest of the season?
Well, first of all, I think it's a shocker with that explosive offense that the Chiefs have to only put up 3 points against Titans. The Titans team was pretty surprising to me. But I think people got to stop hating on Mahomes. It's like they said, he's trying to do too much to help his team win, and I think they really need to get the defense figured out because they got enough playmakers on offense to win games, but when you're giving up 32 points per game on defense, you're not going to win many ball games. So they definitely need to figure something out with the defense and figure it out fast.
And they've definitely had a pretty damn difficult schedule so far as well. They were the first seed, of course, in their division last season. So maybe going up against the Giants, they can, figure some kinks out, kind of like they did against the Washington football team. But we'll see on that. Moving on here, we could go on and talk about the Rams. They have been proving they are a contender throughout the season, proving the preseason hype right. The Lions took a high-risk, high-reward approach against them and kept it closer than you expect last week, but they did pull it out. Outside of a bad loss against the undefeated Cardinals, who we'll get to talking about them later, Zach. They'll eventually get a shot against them also later in the season. They've proven the preseason hype correct, as I said, and Matt Stafford, he's been a top 5 QB. Statistically this season, 19 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. It has been commanding this Rams offense to great success. You've got Cooper Kupp, who's leading the league in receiving yards, and Woods is continuing to support him in that dynamic duo that they've carved out for themselves the past few years. Of course, Aaron Donald, one of the highest-rated defensive players in the season. What else is new? I'll tell you, Zach. These guys have the potential to make it to NFC Championship game, in my opinion. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I really think the Rams, I think they struck the jackpot with getting Stafford, especially, his first, spending his first 12 seasons there in Detroit. To go to a different team, that's always tough to adjust. After being with the team for, over a decade, that's always tough to adjust to him. And I think he's done a great job. And he's definitely playing, at a high caliber level, which we've all know he's capable of. He showed it with Detroit. But that Rams defense, this is a complete team. I think they're proven to be one of the top teams in the NFC, and I definitely think the Rams can make it to a Super Bowl and maybe even win the whole thing.
So the Arizona Cardinals, they're off to a hot start this year, 7-0. Kyler Murray has been playing really well and has been looking to be possibly the favorite to win the MVP, Zach. They've been proving themselves to be the team to beat in the AFC, and, do you think the Cardinals are a Super Bowl caliber team?
Absolutely. I know, about the sad news about J.J. Watt, with that season-ending shoulder surgery that he had.
Just yesterday.
But, I still think, with, DeAndre Hopkins, who's by far, in my opinion, the best receiver in the NFL right now. With him playing, Kyler Murray, I think this Cardinals team is definitely going to make a run. I think they'll definitely go to the Super Bowl, and it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch them as the season progresses.
Did I hear a definite prediction from you there? Going to the Super Bowl?
Yes.
So you're saying that that's your favorite right now to get to the
My
Super Bowl
favorite,
in the NFC?
Yes, in the NFC, my favorites right now are the Arizona Cardinals.
Like those hot takes. I think they definitely have talent on both sides of the ball to get things done. There's no doubt about that. I'm extremely interested to see how they compete against Green Bay. That game happening either right now or right after we speak. It'll be done by the time this goes up. But, Ertz is already making an impact on that offense, without J.J. Watt this week and every week now apparently for the rest of the season. That's a rough one. He gets a lot of pressure, eats up a lot of blocks, He's not the menace that he was, when he was younger, but he helps get pressure and he helps really help that team. And I think, Kyler Murray and that offense, I think, like you said, the sky's the limit for them. I don't know if this year, they quite get to there, but they're certainly going to be contenders for that NFC Championship game. If they beat the Rams again, they win games again like against the Packers, get those big wins, they'll definitely be winning their division.
Jack, I don't know about you, but a team that has really surprised me this year, I have to say, has got to be the Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, they're sitting at 5-2 right now and are in the top spot in the AFC North. They're coming off a game where they put up 41 points against that Ravens defense. Rookie 5th overall pick, Jamar Chase, he has been putting up huge numbers for them this year. 754 receiving yards through 7 games, which is the most in NFL history in that span. And can't forget about Joe Burrow. He's also been looking really good. Had that really bad knee injury that he had last year. He's looking really well coming off of that. And right now, Jack, the Bengals are firing on all cylinders. What do you think about the Bengals? Do you think they'll win the AFC this year?
It's going to be extremely interesting to see how their season shapes out for you. Obviously, the hype has reached a fever pitch. They beat the Ravens. They really just came out of that second half and dominated them. It was something, just big plays up against the Ravens in that second half. But personally, I still have faith in the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson has proven himself as far as the regular season has go, and I think he can prove himself in the playoffs as well. It comes down to believing that the Ravens defense turns it around. They've been underperforming throughout the season, and I think maybe that sucker punch from the Bengals will wake them up. Jamar Chase, he is a problem. He is amazing, and if he's your number one option, the sky's the limit, especially his rookie season, and he's going off this crazy. Joe Burrow individually, though, I think I need to see more from him. I need to really buy into him before I say that this offense can consistently compete with the top teams in the NFL. Obviously this week was a huge step in the right direction, and I do think it's going to be a tight race for that title. So let me ask you, Zach, do you think the Bengals are going to be able to win that AFC North title?
Absolutely. I think I definitely think the Ravens have some things to figure out after that, but I'm going with the upset and the underdog, and I'm thinking the Bengals win the AFC North.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a huge chase, and of course, Browns and Steelers. Who knows what's going to happen with them?
Right.
I don't think they'll have to worry about them too much, but certainly can make some noise. We see that they're capable of. But moving on here, the Chicago Bears have fully come down to earth from their kind of hard start. They get just absolutely stomped by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and quite frankly, Zach, Justin Fields has been awful this season. He has not been putting his teams in any sort of winning position. He's a rookie. I'm not sure how much you place that on the coach or the quarterback. But, looking at his stats and metrics, it's just been awful. Really, I mean, he's been, last or dead near last on a lot of things. And you have to wonder, about Nagy in that spot, what he's been doing, how he's been, putting Fields in a position to succeed. How much of this is to blame on him? How much is this to blame on Justin Fields just maybe being a bad quarterback? It's always interesting, when a rookie quarterback comes out, their struggles or just what their career becomes. How much of that is on the coaching? How much of that is, on just the offense built around him? What do you have to say about that, Zach? The Chicago Bears in general.
Yeah, I think the Bears need to figure some out. Their defense, as you saw from that Buccaneers game, looked really bad. I mean, they look really bad, and I think it was a mistake putting Justin Fields in this early. I think they really needed Andy Dalton to go in there, lead the team, maybe have Fields watch him and really learn more. I just think they threw him into the fire too quickly, and I think that's. I think he's going to continue to struggle, unfortunately. But it's his first year as a rookie. He'll learn, and I think he will. I think he'll get better as the season goes on, and even as we progress into the following year.
Yeah, hopefully he does get better as the season goes on. I'd say as far as rookie QBs in general, it hasn't been an amazing season for them. But Justin Fields, unfortunately, has just been struggling the most out of the bunch. But enough about football, Zach.
Yes.
Let's move on. World Series Game 2 happened yesterday. The Astros win last night and tie the series 1-1 with a resounding 7-2 victory. They took back home field and swept momentum away from the underdog Braves. It really looked like they were going to kick things into gear real fast there with that big Game 1 win, but they really just shot right back on them after that Game 1 loss, and it almost just feels weird how eerily similar these games were, but just the teams were on opposite ends in both games, The Astros' knack for contact and speed on the bases really let them run wild on Max Fried as they racked up a lot of singles and runs in that second inning, and Jose Altuve, he had his 22nd postseason home run of his career, and already, that ties him with Bernie Williams for second most all time. It's crazy how you realize how much the Astros have been in the playoffs all this time, but just how much how dominant they've been and how dominant Jose Altuve has been. They had their starting pitcher gave them a great start, and then their relievers come in and pitch 4 shutout innings. And where do you see the series going from here, Zach?
I have been highly anticipating this series. I've been keeping up with the games. I've been watching them, and this is going to be back and forth. I think it's going to be win, win, win. I think the Braves take this series in 7 games.
7 games you're going?
7 games.
Ooh, Game 7 in Minute Maid Park, and the Braves pulling it off. I would love to see that. I think the Braves, they've got that underdog energy. They've obviously got a lot of support throughout the nation. Not a lot of people outside Houston are cheering for the Astros. We don't need to get into reasons for that, but I think definitely the Braves have the potential to pull this off. But I think that the Astros, just the experience, the skill that they got, I think Game 1 was more of a hiccup than anything. I think it's very possible that we see this maybe in 5-6 games. The Astros take it. I think the Braves, they are a solid team, and I love their story and, them getting here, without Acuna Jr. and just doing their thing. But I want to be a bit real about it, as much as, I may have opinions about the Astros. They're a good team, and they definitely can win that series and get another World Series.
Absolutely, and I hope that, it's unfortunate that, Charlie Morton is lost after, that leg injury he suffered from that comebacker. And man, that guy went out and threw another 16 pitches after breaking his leg. So
he was apologizing on his way out from the mound. He was apologizing that he couldn't do more.
I know.
It's amazing.
Strikes out, Altuve looking, got another guy line out. That's, I could not do that on a broken leg. I tell you, I'd be out of there really quick.
I couldn't do that on any sort of legs. You give me 4 legs or something. I can't do anything like that, but fortunately, that's all the time we got this week for the Brockport Sports Report. I'm Jack.
And I'm Zach.
And we'll see you next time.